Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Sony's animated Miles Morales Spider-Man vehicle. I know we were both kind of skeptical walking into this because of all the hype. In 2018...
Skeptical?
Oh, yeah.
You said spectacle.
Did I say spectacle?
Yeah, skeptical.
Well, we were definitely spectacle because one of us was wearing glasses.
Sure.
Anyway, I was definitely skeptical because a lot of the hype for this movie was kind of astronomically high. And that was a little bit of a through line of 2018 was like, this movie's the best blank ever. And I'm like, oh man, I'm really excited to see what it's like. And go and watch and like, yeah, that was good. Or that was, at least okay, but it's not the best blank ever. I was worried about this walking in. And walking out, I wasn't very much worried after seeing this.
Yeah. Well, I'll just start with my first point is, wow. You took some of the characters from Marvel that I hate the most. Mm-hmm. Or like, at least like sort of represent the idea I hate the most, which is this like mantle passing bullshit, different timeline, different universe, basically all the things that annoy me about comics. Mm-hmm. And you put them in a movie and you made something pretty fucking fantastic.
Yeah. As I said, like the Miles Morales character, I like didn't have any reason to not like, other than he kind of exemplified a lot of the stuff I didn't like about New Spider-Man stuff, like mantle passing and conscience swapping.
Well, that's what I mean. It's just all the kind of weird bullshit storylines that just seem like they're just lazily in the place of just a regular story.
Right, and that worried me, but I walked out pretty eased. Like, I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm like a fan of Miles Morales, but like we're good. Like I'm good with Miles Morales. Like he's
I'm
fine.
A fan of this Miles Morales.
Yes. I definitely
see
agree.
that's the other thing is I think one of the reasons why doing the weird like alternate universe or like in this version of Spider-Man or this version of Gwen Stacy or whatever, the reason why I think this worked is I think it works better in a movie than it does in a comic. Well, it can work in a comic if it's like, wasn't that a neat arc? And that's like, great, now we don't have to revisit that.
Right.
It's like the what the hell was it? Like the War of the Spider-Man in like the late-ish 90s.
Right.
Where it's like what the fuck is
Ben Reilly?
Ben Reilly and all the like Scarlet Spider and all that shit. It's like, that was cool. But then they kept it going. It's like, stop. Mm-hmm. Just like, it was cool, now just drop it. And I feel like you can at least sort of do that with a movie because it's like it's just this one thing.
And that kind of goes more towards, and I'm going to be echoing something I've said before, but that idea of like I kind of want to start moving away from the cinematic universe thing.
Yeah,
like, let's move more towards like this is a standalone thing that's just its own thing, like jokery,
right.
like this, where it's like, hey, what if there are many Spider-Men and like. I know Sony's going to milk it for all of its work.
And they're going to make sequels to this
They're
particular...
already in development.
You know what?
That's fine. Like, it's not going to take away from the fact that this movie existed. I hope.
It's
not
not
too much.
It's not, but it's not trying to say this is how it is now.
Right,
it's like,
right.
This is just a version of it.
Right.
Which I feel like is a lot more palatable.
Mm-hmm. And it really does succeed at what it sets out to do, I think.
Right. Also, I think part of what worked so well with this is it didn't really just because it's an animated movie. It was kind of weird is it didn't really feel like a superhero movie in the sense like this is trying to be Marvel or DC. Mm-hmm. It had a lot of the, I guess, Pixar-ish elements, like super relatable characters, particularly Miles.
And yeah. I'll give them this much. They made me forget I was listening to Jake Johnson.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot who he... I didn't hear him anymore. I was like, that's Peter B. Parker or whatever.
That is crazy you mentioned that, because I kind of forgot about that until you just mentioned it now.
Like, he's got an unmistakably, like,
right.
That's Jake Johnson. I know who that is. But, like, it worked perfectly for the kind of Peter Parker they were bringing into the fold here.
Well, that's the other thing I was going to get at is... I liked that with all the different spider people or whatever the hell you want to call them, Spider-Men,
Right.
etc. The idea you had different. Not only was Miles relatable, but Peter was relatable too, because it's like you have the growing pains of high school, which it's like a lot of the audience either has experienced or maybe is going through right now or is about to start. But then you also have the kind of like getting older side of things with Peter.
That's what's so weird is like this movie presents a Spider-Man for pretty much every generation in person.
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man for the older fans, like people who watch Spider-Man now, like the cartoons, people who grew up watching the old Spider-Man, like janky-ass 1960s cartoons,
Right.
the 90s cartoons, the Sam Raimi movies. It's read the comics. Like there's so much in here for every kind of Spider-Man fan, and that's like, it's weird how all-encompassing it is.
Right. Speaking of the comics, the comic book aesthetic I thought was really cool.
Oh, God, the textures and shit.
Yeah, okay, there's only a couple things that I have to say were detractors. One of them was like some of those weird like the pseudo printing error things. You know what I mean? Like they had the extra outline or whatever. It was supposed to mimic like printing errors of comics.
Right.
That shit was annoying the shit out of me because my vision is terrible. Is terrible enough. I was starting to get cross-eyed at some of that shit.
Yeah, it was like looking like 3D.
No, it's like, yeah, it's like, did I go to a fucking 3D movie? Did I forget my goggles? Or the 3D glasses?
Well, to see that, and I think that'll dive me into my other point, which is the animation, which is, I dug all of that. Like, it appealed to, like, you know that weird side of me that's like, I kind of like, I don't like Off the Air that much, but like when you're that late and your brain cells are just like firing off, like sputtering.
Yeah,
you're
no, I
like,
get it.
There's something appropriate
get into it.
about like this trippy, like weird ass psychedelic imagery. Like, holy shit. Like some of that stuff, especially with like the cosmic, or not cosmic, but like the universe, like quantum theory, like matter and shit flying around.
We'll get to some of that in spoilers. I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
The images, the colors.
Right.
Holy
no,
God.
see, I agree with that, except for just some of those shots where I'm like, this. It was kind of like that thing in Interstellar. It's like, well, it's supposed to be loud because, you know, or the score where you like couldn't hear them. It's supposed to be intense, like, but that it doesn't come across that way. It comes across as I can't fucking hear what they're saying. So that was kind of my same. That's like, yeah, I get that you're making this aesthetic choice, but this is fucking up my eyes right now.
Right.
There's only like a couple shots like that where that really bugged me, but otherwise it was fine.
There's a seizure warning for this movie. Like I was walking into a theater that was showing Spider-Man at one point, but it was showing a different movie that I was going to see. But it had a paper in front of it taped to it, like, be careful if your kid's photosensitive. Like, don't be careful with this because it's a little crazy.
No, yeah, you know what? I think that's perfectly okay because the colors do get pretty crazy, and as I said, we'll mention that again. Spoilers. The animation was weird at first. It took me a while to get used to.
Honestly, for me also, but I did get used to it.
I think because it was a different style. Because this is not just your cookie cutter, like whatever round face Pixar kind of dumb looking characters. Not that all Pixars are like that. You know what I mean? Like, there's sort of that samey look with a lot of CGI character designs.
The animation style's got personality.
Yeah.
Especially the movement.
And that's the thing is it's a little choppy. It's different.
Yeah.
But once I got used to it, it was fine.
See, that was like for me with the first like 15 minutes of the movie. Like I was finding it like, I don't know, I think that part of me was like equalizing my expectations for the movie based on everybody's hype and like processing what I was watching. But like, once something happens, and it's not really a spoiler, but like once the Spider-Man elements come in, and like, if you know what I mean when I say the comic book elements come in, I was like, all right, this movie's got me by the fucking balls.
Are you talking about like, all right, let's go through this one more time?
Yes.
And then they go through Spider-Man's story. They go through a bunch of the other ones.
Well, they do that, and like when a specific thing happens to Miles Morales, like comic booky things start happening, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I was like, God,
I'm like,
Damn
now
it.
you've got me.
I'm like, fuck, you just appealed to another version of Robert, the one that likes to read comics, like, of any kind.
It felt like, and this might sound like a detractor, but trust me, I mean this in a good way. It felt like an extended music video.
Mm-hmm. It did.
In the way that it's like they're doing kind of crazy shit to tell the story that you just don't see often.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I kind of there's one thing about that I was really worried about was the obsession with like meta humor and like, you know, in joking about like specific
Spider-Man
knowledge.
shit.
Like they do that, but they don't beat you over the head with it, thankfully.
No, and I think they do it. It's for a point. Like,
right.
It's weirdly like
yeah.
meta for a good reason. Like,
because it's funny is so these guys did Lego Movie. Mm-hmm. Which I think is all right, and I know that's like blasphemy, but
no, I think
part of what bugs me about that movie is like
a lot of meta humor.
But it's kind of like great, whatever. So you're playing with Legos, you go to the different Lego places. Oh, I get it. It's his dad the whole time. It's the kid. Mm-hmm. But this felt more purposeful.
Yeah, or like
other than like, see, it's a twist,
or like 22 Jump Street, where it's like we're going to use meta humor to
exactly,
not get away with referencing the last movie and being self-referential. It's like
right,
cool, but just because you're acknowledging you're being self-referential,
yes, exactly. This is like
make me give it a pass for being like the first movie.
No, because this was more like we're referencing each other's universes,
right? I think
not like we're referencing the idea of Spider-Man itself,
right, and that's. I think, like, that's where the movie's subtlety comes in. Is like the movie's not it's not expressing overtly its thematic stuff about meta, Spider-Man meaning, but like there is stuff there. Like I really do think the movie posits like how Spider-Man's like he's not just a hero or an example or like a cultural fixture. Like he's all those things, but he's also like a mechanism through which people can believe in things bigger than themselves and shit. But like the movie doesn't really say that explicitly. Like that's just some fucking extrapolation I just made.
Well, I mean, part of that's like, God damn it, this is just too fucking hard to talk about. You want to just talk spoilers?
Let's get into it. I mean, it's been out long enough.
it's spoiler time, and you know what? Whatever. So like, I think that's really extrapolated on when they talk about the. When the Peter Parker of Miles Morales' universe is dead.
Chris Pine.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like everyone's all sad, and it's like, and they're all like
it's so weird because you're like, it feels like it's still unmistakably an animated comic book movie, but like they're like having the vigil and like the funeral for him, and I'm like, this is how it fucking would have happened, wouldn't it?
It's like this shit's getting like pretty real.
Yeah.
And then you got, of course, the late great Stan Lee's cameo.
Oh man, that's gotta go up there. Yeah, I knew Spider-Man.
I was a good friend of his.
Oh man, that's gonna go up there in like the top 5 for me.
Yeah,
that was so weird, and also good on them for at the end not just saying "Rip Stan Lee," but Steve Ditko also got some love there.
Yeah,
he was also one of the contacts in Jefferson Davis's phone.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Freaking also Brian Bendis was in there also. There's a lot of like
there was a couple,
random Spidey writers. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I thought that was classy stuff.
Yeah.
And I was glad they did that.
And it wasn't like overtly like in your face, like referential, like remember this Spider-Man writer humor?
Yeah. No,
like,
that's what I'm
Easter
saying.
egg if you can see it.
Because that's what I'm saying is like, oh, so in your universe you do this or that. Mm-hmm. It's like they're basing it on their lives, not like Spider-Man, like wink, nudge, fourth wall, which is fine if it's Deadpool, but it gets annoying when other things try and do that too much. As you said, like God damn it, not Mile 22.
21 Jump Street?
21.
22 Jump Street.
22 Jump Street, more so. The fight scenes in this were good. I liked them. There was only one. Okay, if I were to give one other tiny complaint, there's a couple times where there's a little too much camera movement. I'm like, I want to see these fights, man.
Yeah.
It was a little hard to follow, but most of the fight scenes were really goddamn good. Very comic book come to life.
Yeah, I didn't want him to end.
Yeah, see, that's how I felt.
And they kept him coming.
Yeah.
Man, like, they just aren't stopping. And, like, I was never bored. I mean, I I personally, there wasn't really anything where I was confused by. I kind of loved, like, just how wacky and, like, oh my God, especially the end, like with the subway, where it, like, comes out of nowhere and starts, like crashes into Kingpin and fucking Miles Morales, and they're fighting in the subway and shit. And while it's, like, flying around the fucking containment chamber.
The collider room.
Yeah, I'm like, this is oh my God.
Well, do we want to talk about the super collider room right now?
Sure. Well, we're talking spoilers.
Yeah. Well, first of all, wow, those neon colors.
It's something to behold.
No, that's something special. Honestly, like, the color schemes in this whole movie were amazing. And that's kind of why I said they're like a music video. Is it kind of felt like they're using other colors than sort of like the blue and orange was like I felt like were kind of the palette for a while.
Mm-hmm. But then it's like, here's some neon, like, green, like seafoam green and shit,
and like yellows and pinks and
like
shit.
Highlighter pink,
like crazy colors,
right?
Like different kinds of light blues we don't really get. Mm-hmm. Kind of moving away from that, like the typical blue, orange, like brownish, like grim sort of tones that we see a lot of. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess that's not really a thing in animation, but like
a lot of superhero movies.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like the blue, orange, and I guess like with Marvel lately, their thing's been like purple because of Thanos, I guess.
Right, purple and yellow.
Like the tones, yeah. Mm. But the color schemes are just very unique. I can't really think of a lot of movies where the color scheme seemed very similar to this. Mm-hmm. Something occurred to me while I was watching this. And I think this kind of goes along with your thinking about more standalone stuff. I'm starting to think that animation might just be a better medium for superhero movies.
Now, that's an interesting point you bring up, because this brings us into another, kind of dovetails into another thing that I have with this movie that I'm going to have to reveal.
What's that?
We talked about this, and I withheld it from you, but I won't say it's not. Now, who am I to fucking decide whether or not it's the best Spider-Man movie? Because there's subjectivity's a fucking thing.
I cannot agree with you on. If you're saying that this is the best,
no, I can't, because it's subjective. That's a subjective thing. There's no such thing as best.
No, but I'm saying, like, what is that your opinion?
It's my favorite one.
Oh, also disagree.
You disagree that it's my favorite?
No, okay. or whatever. Yeah. Well,
but here's the thing.
Robert, you can't. Dude, not allowed.
I was so fucking depressed after watching this. I was like every fucking ugly Tobey Maguire cry from the Sam Raimi trilogy combined into one fucking face. Like, I was so pissed because I'm like, I have to reconcile with myself here and, like, decide. And, like, I fucking love the Sam Raimi trilogy, all of them, even 3. Like, I fucking love 3.
Oof. Also disagree in there.
But, like, it's almost unfair to compare these. Because it's like, this movie can do so fucking much more than Sam Raimi could have ever done. So it's like, I don't even know if it's worthy of comparison.
I think, quickly, if we're comparing, I think that this is a close second.
Yeah, no, I think they're super close. I don't even want to compare them. Like, that's how scared I am.
First Spider-Man, then this.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I have to do it into 2 categories. Because I don't want to put it on one over the other. Best live action, Spider-Man 2.
All right.
Best animated?
Yeah, fine. All right, whatever. Point is, I guess what I was trying to say is, the thing about animated movies is, if something's animated, so is everything else. Mm-hmm. So you don't run into that problem where, I like Winter Soldier better than, like, let's say, Doctor Strange, because Winter Soldier had more practical effects and, like, looked more realistic for the most part. Mm-hmm. Doctor Strange is just people on green screens.
Exactly.
This whole movie is just animated. So nothing looks out of place or, like, weird, like, when it's extra fantastic.
Right.
And that's what made the Super Collider scene so special to me, is aesthetically, nothing looks fake remotely about it because everything's animated, but you're also able to show something more fantastic because everything's animated, and you don't have to worry about, oh, well, it'll look bad if we superimpose, insert actor's name here over this scene of animation, or it's like, oh, it looks really shitty when you mat it in that way, or whatever,
right.
or like the green screen, blah blah blah,
CGI, whatever.
Yeah, you don't have that problem with this.
See, that's why I was so sad, because I'm like, this movie can do so much more being animated. An animated Spider-Man movie. I guess exactly. I never realized, it's like,
everything,
should Spider-Man movies have just always been animated?
I don't know about Spider-Man. I'm just saying superhero movies in general.
Yeah.
I can think of about 4 other examples, like off
the DC flicks?
Oh, yeah. I think the Wonder Woman animated one's better than the live action. Again, it's very, very, well, sort of flip-flop, my opinion about Spider-Man and this, but the animated Wonder Woman, I think, is just a tick better than the live action.
I can get behind that.
Oh, man. Batman, it's a close race. There's a lot of good animated movies as well as Dark Knight.
Damn.
Well, yeah. Okay, but my point is there's a lot of animated ones that are better.
Yeah, because you can do so much.
They're better, if not better, close to the live action version.
Because you can do so much without making it look like shit. Planet Hulk.
Boom, better than all the Hulk movies.
It's not even close.
Not even remotely fucking close. Because
would you say The Dark Knight Returns is better than like half of the Batman movies?
Ooh, yeah.
Like the Tim Burton and fucking what's the dude's name? Schumacher ones?
Oof, that's a close call, but okay, it doesn't matter. We're getting off topic.
The point being,
I think
they hold a candle.
They hold it. There's lots of the ones that hold a candle. The fact that we're like, ooh, I don't know, like, or like, oh yeah, that's definitely better. We've stumbled upon the fact that this is another outlet.
Yeah, this really galvanized me into being like, holy shit. I want more animated superhero
Bring
movies.
me Mojo World
fuck.
X-Men.
This style of like Sony animation.
Yeah,
Dare I say it?
Yeah, I guess Sony can't do it.
Sony, please do this, I guess.
No, but that's what I'm saying is that really made this an unbelievably, like, it elevated the level of enjoyment of a superhero movie in a different way.
Right, I agree.
Now, I'm not trying to say that you can't do the CGI thing, but like, I'm just saying this is a different aesthetic.
I also
maybe not even better. Maybe comparison is not the right thing, but it's another avenue.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely like animation is something that ages better than CGI, because like shit, I mean 20-year-old movies like Lion King still stack up today, but like 20-year-old CGI doesn't.
No, it does not.
So that's where I stand. It's so fucking hard for me to stack them up, but regardless. This is a decent.
That's what I'm saying.
An amazing Spider-Man movie, if you will.
Well, haha. But honest to God, that whole Collider scene, I'm like, talk about I didn't want that shit to end. I could have watched like a whole movie of that. Oh no, we're stuck. It's like the movie starts. Come get me, spider people. It's like, all right, we're in this fucking crazy, trippy ass like fucking super jail world. That's like
pretty much.
I was loving every second of that.
You know what was the one fight scene though that got me?
What's that?
The one in fucking Aunt May's house.
Yeah.
Where like all the like Scorpion shows up and Doc Ock shows up, and I'm like, they got to go outside first to fight, right? And the movie's like, nope, we're gonna have a fight right in the house. I'm like, holy fuck.
Well, that's a great. That's the thing is like this did a great job of mixing so many types of movies together because it's not just a superhero movie. It's also an animated movie. So it's like you gotta have cartoon elements that you wouldn't do. As I said, because this is the new avenue, what can we do that we normally wouldn't like do or get away with in a regular live action?
Right.
They really did a good job of that. The other Spider characters, Jesus.
Nick Cage is Spider-Man
Nick Cage, Spider Noir. I love that shit with the Rubik's Cube.
I'm taking this with me.
I still don't understand it. That shit. I think that's my favorite line in the whole movie. Killed
it's inspired, man. I love that fucking cast.
Also, Penny. I love Penny, man. If I'm not, no lie, the part that made me the saddest is
when the spider dies.
When the robot dies.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that shit. Just like Penny Parker. I've got psychically linked to this robot.
And it was they were all perfectly balanced.
Spider Ham.
Yeah. He's basically Porky Pig.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, literally like a Looney Tunes character with mallet and shit.
I didn't really love, was it John Mulaney? Mm-hmm. I didn't really love his voice performance. I thought it was all right, but it's just like...
Characters.
I feel like they should have chosen someone who's a little, like a fucking voice actor, heaven forbid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I get that you're not going to choose that for all the roles, but for him... Mm-hmm. It's like he's a cartoon within a cartoon world. Like he is supposed to be the cartooniest.
I get that.
So I felt like tiny little thing, but he was serviceable enough. Mm-hmm. Spider-Gwen was fine. I didn't really have much opinion about her. She was fine.
She kind of doesn't have a whole lot to do. I mean, she's in the beginning of the movie, and they kind of do a thing where she goes into Miles Morales' universe, but also goes back in time to when before the Collider shit happens. And you'd think that'd give her more to do, and she kind of does. She's basically there as a love interest, sort of, but not really. Also, thank you for not forcing a fucking love story on me in the first movie.
Right.
Like, give it time, if anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, how about Kingpin, by the way?
Yeah, that's another thing I had.
Fucking character design there. It's just like a giant fucking like Lego Duplo block of a human being.
Well, but they also nailed the spirit of him in the comics.
Yeah.
Because he's this cutthroat dude, but like...
He's got a very soft heart.
He's got a soft heart, especially for his family.
But it's surrounded...
for Vanessa.
Yeah, it's surrounded by all this squarish girth.
Yeah.
That melted heart of his.
Yeah. So you got Kingpin... Yeah, it's...
But Jeff Davis, man. The dad.
Yeah.
Made me sad, that one scene where he's, like, sitting outside the door and shit. Yeah, I'm like, oh, man.
Was he like... Oh, they tie him to the chair.
Yeah, and he's telling about, like, his uncle died. Prowler, by the way. I was like...
Yeah.
Prowler getting some love. Like,
Prowler's cool, man.
Yeah. There's a lot of just great, like, little small scenes, like the motorcycle chase with fucking Prowler and shit. God. There's just a lot of good... It's just really good.
I also liked... Because I didn't know who the hell she was in the... Because, again, this is kind of... This kind of felt like... You know, you could interpret... Like... It was kind of like this. If you read the Ultimate Comics, you're like, oh, I know who this, and... I know who those people are. Mm-hmm. That's like if you read the regular comics, oh, I know who A, B, and C are. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know anything about the Ultimate Comics, about Octavia.
Yeah, I didn't know about that either.
What was her name?
Olivia Octavius.
Yeah, Olivia Octavius.
I was blown away.
I love that.
I was like, oh, holy shit, we're doing this.
Like, who's she voiced by?
Catherine Hahn.
Ah, that's perfect.
Right.
That's why I thought that sounded familiar too.
Oh yeah, they did that a bunch. Like, holy shit, Scorpion. Like, holy shit, Prowler and fucking Doc Ock. Lady Doc Ock. I'm like, fuck, man. Like,
I liked that twist. I like how she was just so nonchalant. She's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a bad guy.
Right. Yeah, man.
It had like a. That's the thing is like it didn't overdo anything. Mm-hmm. Like it did a lot of things and put a lot of effort into it without overdoing things. Like they could have overdone the quirkiness.
Yeah,
and they didn't.
That's the other thing is it played so many things. There's so much going on. There's it's a multiverse story. Peter Parker's there, he dies, but there's another Peter Parker that comes back. It's a Miles Morales origin. Kingpin's the villain, he wants his family back. And like, if you were pitching this to me, I'd be like, slow the fuck down. What? Yeah. Like, this is too tweakery. There's no way this is going to work. This sounds horrible on paper, but like, they balance it all perfectly.
They do. Oh, one quick thing about the printing error, like, weird effect. Mm-hmm. It's just like, there's... As I said, the one time where it was bad, where I was like starting to cross, I was just like, focus, focus.
Oh man!
Of course, those don't exist in movies anymore.
That's true.
Okay, but anyway, here's where I almost wanted to dock points. Jesus Christ, the music, the fucking. Not the score. The score's fine.
I like the score.
The score is fine. Mm-hmm. What I was not fine with
the soundtrack.
Jesus Christ, all that shitty ass like blah, 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 not good at rapping or singing, so I sort of do both. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
Why is that everywhere?
That's a point of contention I've heard.
You know what? Fine. I get it. Like, Miles Morales is supposed to be 14, so he likes fucking terrible music.
Yeah,
that's fine.
That's kind of where I
They're
was
realistically trying to portray a young fella. Fine.
Yeah, that's where I was kind of at. I'm like, yeah, this is the music he'd listen to if he were swinging around New York, Manhattan, and stuff. So I was like, I was fine with it.
I'm sorry. I fucking hate that exact style.
I know.
With like a burning passion.
No, and that's been a point of contention for numerous people. With
People
this
have
movie
pointed
too.
that out.
Oh yeah, they're like, yeah, the fucking what's his name?
Post
Lil
Malone.
Wayne. Like when the funeral of Peter Parker, they're playing Lil Wayne, like the one fucking song.
Yeah.
Where it's like this is not conjuring like emotions of sadness out of me. It's like making me feel ironical towards the movie.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. Like I'm not really into that scene so much, so I have no idea what's the difference.
I wasn't
between
paying
good-
attention to the music during the sad vigil shit. I was just like, this is sad.
Yeah.
I was drowning out the music there.
See, I was kind of like that with all of it.
No, I know. It's like they didn't really make a big point of this other than like they had the scene. It's like, what do you like to do when you relax? And
I
they
like to
start
listen to
singing
music.
Yeah, he sings like a bar too. I'm like, you know what? Fine. Sing another and I'm fucking leaving. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
I was not about to leave the theater. I was having much too good of a time. Let's see. Yeah, I think the action, as I said, most of it was really, really goddamn good. There's just a couple of tiny bits where I'm like, whoa, I wanna see this. Let's see what else we got. Well, Jesus Christ, that finale, I know we keep coming back to it.
So
but it's
much
like,
going on.
That's how you do a third act. And you know what the art thing is? That's how you do a third act that isn't the same as everything else.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, we're going to... Because...
It does have the scary beam in the sky thing, but it's like, this time we're going to fight in the beam.
Yes,
And I'm
exactly.
Like,
It's like-
holy shit.
we're doing something a little different here. Yeah, we're fighting in and or around the beam, and guess what?
Right.
The beam just rips apart the fabric of reality as
Exactly.
we know it.
Oh my God, it was so cool.
It's like that episode of Justice League. I always talk about this, but the one where Hawkman, Hawk Girl,
Solomon Grundy and
and
Dr.
Dr. Fate, and it's just all trippy and shit.
It's all sad at the end. Oh.
It was, Spider-Man's whatever the fuck. What the fuck is this called? Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
Sorry. The ending, it was just very psychedelic. It was just very different.
Yeah, man. It's super different and welcome, refreshing different.
Yeah.
Also, how'd you feel about did you stay for the post-credit scene?
Yes, it did.
Good meme.
Oh, we got the
Spider-Man
Oscar
pointing
Isaac
at,
thing.
Well, yeah, Spider-Man pointing at himself, but it's fucking Spider-Man 2099 this time.
Yeah.
Funny.
So we're gonna get some 2099, I guess, in the sequel or whatever.
Which, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's do it. I like that arc. It's
Yeah,
fun.
I'm fine with that.
Let's get some Ben Reilly too.
No, see now you're making me hate this again. Let's pump the fucking brakes.
I'd like what about a Ben Reilly solo animated movie?
How about we just do Miles and everyone else is dead and just leave it at that?
Oh man, I didn't expect you to say that. So you want the Miles Morales solo flick?
Well, dude, it's like he's the one who clearly this was the focus of. So
That's true.
I don't know.
I think I agree.
You know what? Fuck it. It's
As long as it's Miles focused, I think I'll be at least interested in the sequel.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Whatever it ends up being.
I don't know. You could make a spin-off of any number of things, but let's talk about the one we saw
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
So I think we kind of touched upon this. Peter Parker's characterization, it was a little bit different.
Which one?
The
one that's not dead.
Yeah, the not dead, but it still worked.
The deadbeat boyfriend, Peter Parker.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Is I liked the different takes. Mm-hmm. I like the different takes because it works in this particular instance.
Mm-hmm. It does. And the Jake Johnson performance cracked me up, surprisingly.
Talked about Robot Spider. I was a big fan of that.
Or SP//DR.
Yeah. Penny Parker.
Penny Parker.
Konnichiwa. It's hilarious.
Ugh.
Spider Noir. It's just like, I know we already talked about him, but god damn it. Mm-hmm. That's a great characterization.
There's a lot of really interesting little, like, cameos here. Like, oh yeah, Green Goblin was in this.
Yeah.
And, like,
but
Tombstone.
Like a gigantic monster.
Well, like the ultimate Green Goblin.
See, that's the thing is I'm like, okay, that I kind of remember that with Ultimate. I've only read a very small chunk of Ultimate.
Mm-hmm. Tombstone, did you see Tombstone there?
Yeah. He was the one with the dueling pistols.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I've mostly touched upon everything. I just thought, overall, I just loved the way it looked. Mm-hmm. The pacing was really good. The story was really good.
I thought it was really funny.
The
overall,
the family elements were there. The growing pains of various, it's like stages in life were there. Mm-hmm. The dad character was super relatable.
I think they got the spirit of Spider-Man right without specifically telling a story about Peter Parker.
Yeah.
You know, like Miles Morales is a Spider-Man, you know?
Well, and you know what? You know when the perfect moment was? Let's go through this one more time. My name is Miles Morales. I'm like, I see what
Spider-Man for a whole day now.
you bookending sons of bitches. I see what you did there.
It's a good framing device.
It really was. I felt like everything felt right in its place in this. Mm-hmm. And like, there's certain things where it's like I say I wish I got more of the other spiders, mm-hmm. like Noir, Penny Parker, and Spider-Ham. Mm-hmm. But maybe that would have made it too crowded or too long, and so maybe it's good that we got the amount we did.
Maybe it's just right.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Everything felt like it was just right in its place. Mm-hmm. And basically, I just wanted some thwipping, and pugilism, and bright colors. And holy shit, especially on the latter, did it deliver.
Yeah, maybe even over-delivered at some times.
So, I guess we'll move on to scores, unless you got any parting words about this or no.
No, I was just...
All right, so let's move on to scores.
Yeah.
So, again, it's like, this was real good, and I really wish I'd seen it before it came out, mm-hmm. or closer to its release date rather than a couple weeks after. I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, this was one of the only movies that, like, smacked me upside the head with, like, how good it was. And, like, one of the only movies also of last year that, like, I felt like I wanted to fucking about-face my happy ass back to the ticket booth to buy another fucking ticket. I'm like, I want to see that again. Like, that was so fucking good. And also, one of the only movies I think I've ever seen ever that I'm like, I probably should have saw that in 3D.
Oof, man.
I was like, would that have been better in 3D?
That colorful, crazy collider scene at the end?
That's maybe. What I mean. I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen a movie like that where I'm like, that would have worked in 3D probably better, if not as good as 2D.
Well, there's another aspect if you're talking the advantage of just making everything animated versus like live action movies that are CGI heavy.
You can control the 3D aspects
way more.
The 3D
looks way better.
Mm-hmm. So overall, I mean, I really don't have any problems with it beyond like super just small stupid nitpicks. So I have to give it a perfect score.
Perfect score.
It's really fucking good, and it stands. It holds a candle to and stands alongside my favorite Spidey flick, Spider-Man 2. Would you say this is better than Spider-Man 2? Because you said Spider-Man 1's your favorite.
Actually, fuck it. I don't know. I'd have to watch Spider-Man 2.
I feel like I also have
whatever.
To go back.
This is not too far behind 1 and 2. Let's leave it at that.
Isn't that a fucking stunning like thought? That's like, this is close.
Yeah,
that's fucking crazy.
Well, I know a lot of people think this is better, and I'm just like, yeah.
It's like, I don't know if it's better.
That. I could see that. It's just like, it depends.
It's like my feelings for it are crazy, like off the charts.
Those fucking fight scenes, though,
they're really good for practical. Like
for the practical fight scenes in
really
1,
good.
I'm sorry. Those to me, that's some fine pugilism.
Oh yeah, especially the final Gobby fight scene.
Yes, exactly.
But that's
so I think it's a hard comparison. But again, I think my score reflects that it's real goddamn good. And the only things I had problems with are I couldn't help but notice them.
Mm-hmm. Well,
like I couldn't help but notice and or hear them.
Yeah. Well, a 14.5 out of 15 is about as good as you can get without being perfect.
Yeah, very, very, very close. So that's our score, combined score, 14.5 out of 15. So that will do it for our review of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.